I'll put my hands up. When this tie was made, I thought Arsenal was going to beat them. I said 5-3 to Arsenal. After that first leg, I was like, yeah, it's done. Bayern are winning this 100%. Fans, no fans, it just... Arsenal threw that first game, which was going to crush Bayern's morale. Combine that with Bayern's league season being done, they're going to put all their effort in here. Plus, Arsenal's inferior complex against Bayern historically, their heritage, everything. Yeah, it's just you never count Bayern out in some of these games in the Champions League. See, I can't even sit here and say that Arsenal played better or they did better, deserve to go through. I can't even say that. Arsenal had 8 shots overall with 3 on target compared to 17 shots and 3 on target for Bayern. So it was a very boring game, you can say. But I mean, narratively speaking, Bayern came into this game as underdogs, believe it or not. If you're on social media, pray for Bayern was trending throughout this tie. I don't know what to tell you, Arsenal fans. Like, I am surprised that you balled this, but at the same time, in hindsight, I feel like I got it wrong because I shouldn't be that surprised. This is like a classic UCF result right here. But I want to talk a little bit about the goal scorer, Kimmich. Now, I know there's been a lot of hate to Kimmich lately. I even made a video about Bayern suck and put Kimmich a thumbnail. However, do not take that as Kimmich criticism. I've always said this. Kimmich is one of the best midfielders, right backs, inverted right backs, whatever you want to call him. Passing-wise, mentality-wise, this guy is still him. He personifies what Bayern is, in my opinion. He personifies what it is, competing until the end. The header was amazing. Guerrero also good pass. Tactically, Tuchel did play 2 left backs to counter maybe Saka. It did work in this game. I don't know if it was exactly because Arsenal suck or because it was a beautiful tactical decision by Tuchel, but it worked anyway. So, and yeah, I didn't see any threat from Arsenal. Saka had a disaster class. This guy did not show up. I've been saying this. The way I think of Saka is the way I think of Foden, or you can even say Cole Palmer, guys like that. They're good, but they're not this like generational talent. They're simply dangerous players. You can bring on as your 12th man, can play a good part for your team, but they're never going to be like this generational guy, the superstar that's going to lead you to trophies. No, they're not that. They're good players and it ends there. They can be locked down. If you have them as your main guy, other teams are going to know that. And they're going to try to double down on them. They're going to try to counter them. And once that happens, these are not players that can deal with that pressure, being the focus of opponent's defense and come out on top. They just simply are not. They are players that you can lock down if you want to. Any manager can do it. Therefore, I think Arsenal's biggest strength is really their weakness too. They don't have a superstar, but that guy, that superstar is probably Saka, and he's just not good enough. I think Arsenal lack a striker in general. They talk about the Swedish striker from Sporting Lisbon. I don't know if it'd be the right move, especially considering how much it costs. I know there's a lot of hype about him. Is he the right move for Arsenal? I'm not too sure. I don't see him technically capable of playing Arsenal's system under Arteta. And he's a huge gamble. But they need somebody. They need a striker. In my opinion, I know this is kind of out there. This is a Bayern Arsenal match review, but Arsenal need a player like a Rodrigo from Real Madrid and maybe like a Frankie de Jong from Barcelona. They need another control in there with Rice because Rice has been amazing. I take back all my criticism of Rice when he moved. I said this is 100 million to trash. I didn't see nothing in Rice. He's been playing very well, to be fair to him. Odegaard at 10. Odegaard as a 10 is a class player too. They're just lacking that third piece, that midfield, which I think Frankie de Jong would do. He would control that midfield, help them keep the ball a little longer, while Rodrigo would bring out that superstar, that clutch goal scoring moment, the Brazilian samba, Madrid DNA, if you want to call it that. So they're not going to win a title with the players they have now. They might get close, they're not going to win it. This Prem is also done. Pep is winning another one. So Arsenal, another trophy this season. But to be fair, they've only made the semis once in their history, or maybe twice. I might be wrong here. But there was a stat that Eric Dyer has made more Champions League semis than Arsenal. So when you look at that history, Arsenal fans, I don't want to make fun of you, right? But when you look at the amount of times you've made that stage, why were you so confident that you're going to do it this time? These players don't have that experience, mind you. They're still a very young team. Arteta is a very young coach still. You haven't won a single big trophy yet. Why are you so confident that you're going to make Champions League semis, a final? Why are you so confident you're going to win the Champions League? That's not how that works. We've seen it with Liverpool under Klopp. First, they made a certain stage, then they made the final, then they won it. You've seen it with City. They were struggling, trying to 16 quarters, then they made semis, then they won it. Everything follows a path. You can't just go from Europa League, Conference League, mid-table to Champions League winners. It follows a path, and it's the same lesson I'll tell to Barcelona. Yes, I know. Arsenal fans and Barcelona fans, I think, have a lot in common right now. Considering they've been down for a couple years, Barcelona's obviously had more success, but it's a similar situation where they've been down and they're coming back up now, but they still lack that experience, that the final step to go beyond. Now, right now, both sets of fans are very upset, myself included as a Barca fan. But in hindsight, you have to go through different stepping stones. You can't just skip steps. First, you get the quarters. You may be disappointed, Arsenal fans, but this is your first quarters in I don't know how long. It's not that bad. It is not that bad. And you're going to face Madrid next. You really think you're going to beat Madrid next? No. You were not going to beat Madrid next anyway. So for them, don't take this on your team too much. Just realize that it's just simply not good enough yet. It still lacks experience. You lost to probably the worst Bayern in history, but it's still Bayern. It still has, on an individual level, 1-to-1, a more talented team than you. Still, yes, 100%. Bayern still have a more talented team on paper than you. They simply do not have the system. They do not have the motivation. They do not have the positive dynamic that you have right now. But on an individual level, simply comparing player to player, Bayern is still superior, yes. So on Bayern, Harry Kane, I mean, this is the Haaland syndrome. This guy is just never going to step up in a big game. And I already know he's going to bottle against Madrid. I already know it. Guys, I already know it. I already see it. He's going to disappear. Rudiger is going to get best center back in the world shouts. It is what it is. I already seen it. He's not going to show up. Sané had some good moments, some dribbling. I heard that he was suffering discomfort from before the game, so fair enough to him. Musiala, I thought he could have had a goal today. He didn't play his best. One of his biggest weaknesses, in my opinion, is he doesn't pass too much. I understand dribbling-wise, it's a generational talent. If anything, probably an intergenerational talent. But he needs to learn when to pass and to play fast football if he wants to go to that next step of being efficient, of deciding games in the biggest stages. He needs to do that. Because if Kimmich doesn't get that goal and go to extra time and somehow Arsenal win, we're talking about Musiala as a bottler. So he just needs to improve that part of his game to really be elite now and not just some talented winger or number 10. That midfield of Goretzka and Leimer, I'm not going to say what I think, but it's just prey ball. Like, it makes no sense how they were able to shut down Arsenal. Both games, to be honest, they performed both games. Goretzka, I don't know what doctors has been seeing lately, if you know what I mean, but he's back on that 2020 form, if you know what I mean. So let's just see what he does against Madrid. That's the real test, in my opinion. He's going to be facing a lot of good midfielders. Kroos, Jude. Jude is a striker, I'm sorry. Camavinga, Tchouaméni will be back. Valverde, so it's a lot of PNP that Madrid game. Is Goretzka Leimer going to work against that? Considering they're also PNP, but probably worse technically, I'm not sure that midfield is going to work, Tuchel. My only hope as a Barca fan for Bayern Madrid is Tuchel somehow pulls this off, because I have zero hope, I'll be honest with you. I think Bayern, this semis is as far as they get. They overachieved considering their form this season. Semifinals is very good for Bayern. Who cares about the league? Come on, you've won it 11 years in a row. Let somebody else win it. Get more eyes on the Bundesliga. For me, Bayern has turned a terrible season into a decent one, to be honest. Financially, they're going to get the UCL semis money. The league is going to probably be even more interesting and get more eyes on it next year because people are going to want to see Leverkusen try to do it again. They're going to see what Bayern tries to do to take revenge, etc. Listen, man, they've done their thing, but their road ends here. They lose to Carlo 100%. Unless Tuchel, that's the miracle. Like, if Tuchel wins against Real Madrid, then I mean, this guy is one of the best coaches of this era. I'm going to just say straight up. I don't think it's going to happen, but if he does, he's one of the best coaches of this era. And I'll put him up there with Klopp and guys around that level. But yeah, that's it, man. Arsenal fans, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know you liked that video I did for the 2-2 draw at the Emirates. Hopefully you stick around here for more Champions League action. AFTV is going to be popping. I'm going to tune into that. But unfortunately, you're going to have to hold that and go back next year. Peace out, guys. Stay tuned for more videos.